Get ready for as much as $10,000 under a second stimulus package. Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a stimulus check and second stimulus package update. As always, like and subscribe to this channel and drop your comments below. This is our second of 3 second stimulus package updates for today. This one focusing on hazard pay. A lot of you have asked about hazard pay. How much? When would it apply? Is it retroactive? Who would qualify? And who are defined as essential workers? This video is going to go over all that and a lot more. A lot of great details. Earlier today, we detailed the general stimulus package and what is going to happen with SSDI and SSI individuals. Later today, we're going over a shocking new development on PUA and extension of FPUC. That's $600 from the federal government. But let's get right to it right now about hazard pay. Hazard pay is detailed in the HEROES Fund, which is part of the HEROES Act. The HEROES Act, as you know, is a bill that was approved by members of the House, Democrats, and sent over to the Senate, Republicans. Let's go over procedural issues. First of all, people are wondering when would this come to a vote and when would it be approved. This channel is detailing that the approval will be around, if not on, August 8th. Why? Because members of Congress are on vacation, and they're coming back from vacation in late July. They have a very, very short window to get a second stimulus package approved, and the last date to get it approved is August 8th, before they go on another vacation. So here we go. Let's go over the amounts of money and who would qualify and how you would get it. It would pay up to $10,000 for essential workers, retroactive. So let me go over the nuances and the details on the calculations. So essential workers would get either $10,000 or $5,000 in hazard pay if approved. The money would be retroactive back to a prescribed date. What date is that? January 27th of this year. You would get a lump sum. It would, how would it be calculated? So that would be that part. The other part is after this, hazard pay would be included with regular payroll checks, adding $13 on top of your normal salary until you reach the $10,000 or $5,000 limits, or until 60 days after the pandemic ends, whichever comes first. Ultimately, you're going to get $10,000 or $5,000. And if you've already been expending those number of hours, you could get it as a lump sum nearly immediately. So which one would you get and how would you qualify? So essential workers whose regular base pay is less than $200,000 in 2019 would get the maximum of $10,000 of hazard pay under the HEROES Fund. Essential workers whose basic pay is $200,000 or more, so these are people who made a lot more money in 2019, would get less benefits. They would get a maximum of $5,000 in hazard pay premium. You are permitted to deduct it, employers can deduct it from the payroll taxes. So how would you sign up? How would you receive the money? When would it come? Who would qualify for it? And who are essential workers? Employers would be ultimately the ones that would do the paperwork for you. They would apply to receive hazard pay grant funds, and then they are required by law to immediately pay you. After an employer becomes an essential work employer, that's actually a defined term, essential work employer, they would have to pay you, the essential worker, forthwith. How quickly is it? You would start getting back pay bonuses or grants, whatever you call it, free money, back to the date of January 27th and would continue until up to the present. So it's a lot of money, and it would be paid forthwith. So basically, let's go over that again. If you made up to $200,000 in 2019, you would get up to $10,000. And if you made over $200,000 $200,000 in 2019, you would get up to $5,000. It's based upon the number of hours you have worked since January 27th up to the present. So if you've worked enough hours and have already reached that max benefit, 10,000 or 5,000, you would get the check immediately as a one-time lump sum paid to you by your employer. The employer is responsible for giving you that money. On the other hand, if you do not have enough hours, then you would get a lump sum of what you have, whether it's 2,000, 3,000, and then you would start getting paid $13 per hour on top of your normal base salary going forward. What do you think about this? I have my own opinions. I don't like that the employers are doing the paperwork for you. That just is deeply troubling. I understand that they want the employers going forward who are issuing you checks to put that on the accounting, put that on the $13 per hour going forward. But the retroactive benefits, I'm not very big on an employer paying you retroactive benefits. They're established by federal law. Why can't the federal government, who's distributing the funds, just distribute it to you? They want the employer to do the paperwork for you. What do you think about that? I certainly have an opinion about it. So it's $200 billion allocated for this Heroes Fund. Okay, so the big question is, you clearly are going to ask me right away, and here's the answer. Who are the essential workers? Well, this is certainly a battleground with this bill and any other bill that talks about hazard pay coming up in the second stimulus package. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, defines essential workers, and it's believed that this definition, which I'm about to give you, is the definition upon which hazard pay would be paid in a second stimulus package. Those individuals who conduct a range of operations and services which are typically essential to continued critical infrastructure viability, including staffing operation centers, repairing critical infrastructure, operating call centers, working construction, performing operational functions, among others. It also includes crucial supply chains, enabling functions for critical infrastructures. These industries they support, represent, but are not limited to, so here are the industries: medical, healthcare, telecommunications, information technology, computers basically, defense, food and agriculture, so this is both markets and farmers, transportation logistics, so this is all my truckers, all my shippers I have on this channel, which I know I have a lot from the very, very beginning, whether it's Adam or Paul Ryan and all my people who have trucking backgrounds or run trucking businesses, whether they're solos or bigger guys, not larger people, I mean larger operations. Energy, interesting, energy is covered. Water, waste water, law enforcement, interesting, law enforcement would be covered, and public works. Public works is very broad because that can encompass an enormous amount of city and county employees. So DHS provides essential worker advisory memos as well as those on a regular basis. So there you go. Will the final version of this bill mirror DHS's classification for essential workers? Yes. I don't think that members of Congress are going to rewrite what are essential workers. It doesn't seem to make sense. As James Carville once says, the economy's stupid. I mean, it's as simple as that. These things have to be done. Where we are as the following is really shocking news. As this channel has been detailing, you really need to stay tuned to Tuesday and Thursday next week for two reasons. Thursday, the June jobs number comes out. It's not expected to be good. It's not expected to be good. You know why? Because on Thursday, Department of Labor released its data. It showed that for the 14th consecutive week, new unemployment claims surpassed 1 million. So it doesn't show that job growth is there. Unemployment is about 13%. It's really quite bad. It was 3% before the pandemic. So this hope of a V recovery for, hope, guessing game, it's just not happening. It's potentially a W or a series of rolling Ws of regrowth. COVID-19 cases are just out of control. 45,000 new cases, I think it was on Friday, which means 45,000 new unemployed people that day, if not longer. So you have this concern that hazard pay is even more important than ever before. As COVID-19 cases increase, hospitalizations increase. We already hear the situation of how important essential workers are now needed currently, as lockdown orders have been lifted and they're not working. We have states that are reverting back and hospitalizations that are increasing. So let me get to some of your 229 second stimulus check questions from yesterday's video. James, these folks in the administration, many of our friends in Congress are way behind with the American public. If nothing else, this pandemic has certainly shown a light on the fact. Very well said. I mean, the fact that these members of Congress keep on going on vacations. They're on vacation now. They're going on another vacation. While the pandemic is hitting, people are getting laid off. People are getting sick. People are losing their jobs. People have no money. People can't make rent. I mean, it's really quite horrific. As you know, this channel covers everyone. This channel covers whether you're an unemployed person, whether you're on SSDI, whether you are a small business owner with 500 employees, whether you have grants, loans, or anything of the sort. This channel covers everyone. And so our hearts and wishes are with everyone, and I hope members of Congress have the same belief. Kelly, agree Congress should not take any type of vacation break. What is going on? Mama, Congress has the nerve to make us wait so long. They have no excuse for dragging this out. They really don't. This channel has been deeply critical, you'll see in the first stimulus check video today, of this failure to pay money. If you don't recall, I haven't said it in the last few days, but I'll say it now. If you don't recall, this channel initially did this one line that I would say over and over again, that how dare them not pay the stimulus checks for each month of the pandemic. If you don't recall, the CARES Act was originally multiple checks. It was multiple checks. Marco Rubio even talked about the multiple checks. It was multiple checks because at that time, everyone knew the pandemic was going to be a lockdown of a few months. No one believed it was 30 days. When it went to a final bill and became law, suddenly all those multiple checks were gone. It was one check. So ultimately what you got was one check for the month of March, arriving whenever it arrived, if you hopefully got it. But what happened to the check for April? What happened to the check for May? What happened to the check for June? What happened to the check now coming up for July? Well, at the time in March, what the members of Congress, who I can only call as simply lazy, both parties lazy, said, you know what, we're not going to deal with it. We'll get to it later when we have to. You can see it that two ways, and I'm going to show it as both. One, I call it crap. You knew that the pandemic was going to have a lockdown of several months. So why are you only giving people a check for 1 month and say you're going to get to it later? Second, you already knew your stupid holiday vacation schedule. So you knew there was going to be a routing problem, a scheduling problem, if you don't get that second stimulus check teed up in April. Or late March or early May, you knew you had all these vacations coming in the pipeline. Why didn't you deal with it then? Finally, and actually, I guess this is the third one I'm going to throw in there. Finally, if you don't know, and I detail this in the first stimulus check video today, there is a fast track law. There's a fast track law that allows members of Congress to fast track bills between the Senate and the House and the Senate faster than a normal law would be. They haven't done it here. Why haven't they even fast-tracked anything? They could fast-track stuff very quickly. It shows a complete lack of caring, a complete lack of ignorance, a complete exemplary manifestation of ignorance, a complete disdain for the process, a complete lack of understanding of the severity. I can understand when Mitch McConnell, when he received the HEROES Act several weeks ago, when the pandemic was different than it is today, when COVID-19 cases were not escalating at 5% overnight every single day as they are now, which is really quite sad. He said, well, I'll wait to see more economic data. Well, even then, the economic data was not good. Now the economic data is horrible. Unemployment rates, unemployment claims, COVID-19 cases, they're all bad. So where are these members of Congress? They're on vacation. Jamie, I have an idea. Let's trade checks with senators and maybe they can understand our struggles. I love that. Judy, people on fixed income need a second stimulus check now, $2,000 a month to the end of the year. Very well said. Beauty Babe. I have a bill coming due in July for student loan. Thomas. I have a gut feeling that these people are going to let us slide. Kathy, you're the greatest. Thank you. TD, LLA, thank you. I have a feeling this is going to get dragged on. Bob, people need to be made whole. Rob, the virus miraculously ended after the election. What? Gilbert, the longer they drag their feet, the more reason they should get retroactive we should get retroactive benefits. Very well said. I mean, one of our most popular videos this week was the one that talked about retroactive benefits. Unfortunately, it was Marco Rubio's plan that was only to provide them for people who were omitted from the first stimulus check, not the second stimulus package, but the first stimulus package because they weren't U.S. citizens. Where is the viewers of this channel's retroactive benefits you didn't pay for April, for May, for June? Where are their retroactive benefits? White Witch, they better approve this money. Nestor Hamacho. The thing is that Mnuchin and Powell say that they will use their authority to send stimulus. They need to do it. Phil Derrick, as I also detailed on Tuesday, that's the other day to watch next week. Powell and Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary and head of the Federal Reserve, will be testifying before members of Congress to talk about basically a second stimulus package. It's at that conference, that testimony, that hearing, that you should really be ears and eyes open, because you're going to hear more about what the White House thinks are the details of a second stimulus package. Harvey, Kudlow needs to go. Kudlow's been completely out of touch. He really does. And if you don't know, Kudlow gets about $188,000 a year to do his job. The Big D Zone, Evil Mitch has no idea what's happening. He doesn't. I really hope members of Kentucky that are viewers of this channel vote him out. I mean, he is just hurting this country, not just the members of his state who aren't even getting PUA benefits. These senators take more vacations than they do work, says Miss Sixonero. Very well said. Vicky, can any of you guys tell? Oh, so a question about SSDI. Yes, earlier in today's video. Kenneth, LALATE knows all this information makes it sound so illogical in Americans' health. Why the hell hasn't Congress gotten on top of it? Because they're lazy SOBs and just want to collect retirement checks and put their feet in the jacuzzi in Bahamas while Mitch McConnell sings some hula song. It's awful. Angela, hey, happy second anniversary, Ellie. Well, thank you. Wojovox says, when YouTubers are more sensible than officials at the top, the people have to go. Samantha, we are hopeful. We need $2,000 a catch up, says Rita. Let's face it, Larry's a fool, says Annette. If you have questions to today's second stimulus check video, drop them in the comments below and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. This is one of 3 second stimulus check videos today. Earlier today, we detailed what would a second stimulus check involve, when would it be delivered, and why it's going to be paying, it will be paying, when approved, SSDI and SSI recipients. Later today, our PUA video with a shocking new development. As always, stay with LA for more.